Her skin was cool and written by Adrian Lopez and narrated by Mohamed Ghulsaid. Chapter 1. This story begins in a cemetery. A proper cemetery. Nowadays, proper cemeteries are vanishingly rare. A proper cemetery is old enough to have been forgotten, at least to a degree. The last time you visited a cemetery, it was likely to pay respects to the recently deceased, someone whose memory is still fresh enough to spark pain. You may have noticed while you were there that the cemetery was not entirely dissimilar from a suburban backyard, a neatly manicured, monocultured lawn, devoid of any weeds or insects or interests. Sterile, wasted space. The only thing that set it apart were the grave makers. Little X by X inch polished granite slabs that lie flush with the ground and weigh so little you could pick them up and carry them away. If you were so inclined, each one computer engraved with a stock image chosen from a catalogue. Some may have been engraved with a customer-supplied digital photograph, as if they were some sort of mall kiosk knick-knack. There's a reason these grave markers lie flush with the ground. It's so the groundskeeper can run a lawn mower over them. A matter of convenience. It's easier and therefore cheaper to trim the grass when the stones that mark the graves are easy to ignore. Isn't it something that the lawn seems to take precedence over the dead? Cemeteries like these serve their purpose, I suppose, in a dull, soulless sort of way, but they hardly instill reverence. This cemetery instilled reverence. It was overgrown, unkempt. The tall, dried autumn grasses had gone to seed, forming not a lawn, but a meadow. The fallen leaves that littered the earth had already decayed down to the veins, reclaimed by the detritivores and fungal mycelium, leaving the old gnarled oaks that had shed them a skeletal silhouettes against an overcast sky. None of this is what makes a cemetery, of course. Only graves can do that, and this cemetery had no shortage. The cemetery contained hundreds of graves, some older than the oaks themselves. A person could have spent a lifetime studying the lives of the people buried in that soil, and still barely have scratched the surface. And save for a few that had crumbled to nothing over the centuries, each of these graves had a marker. Some were towering mausoleums, elaborate sculpture monuments to a life of privilege and means. Others were simple headstones, heartfelt labors of love, chased from whatever stone could be found. Either the rich nor the poor are immune to the rasp of time. However, many of the older markers had been rendered high unreadable by lynchings and erosion. Identities wiped away, leaving only death's heads and other memento mori. One of the deceased had chosen a more practical memorial, a dark, heavy granite bench. Perhaps...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?